Ventral horn.
Classification.
What is the functional classification of a neuron in here? I'll give you a hint. Function is based on direction. Which direction is the signal traveling?
Towards the up.
Is it going up or down?
I think it's going up there. Yeah. Towards.
Okay, you look at your chart. Ventral horn. Where do you see ventral horn on your chart?
In the somatic motor part?
Excellent. Is it going up or down?
Oh yeah.
Yes, you
Down.
do. You said somatic motor. What does motor mean? What's another term for motor?
Efferent.
What does efferent mean?
Down. away.
Sorry, when I say down, I literally mean it's
From the
going to
brain,
the brain
yeah.
or from the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what direction is the signal traveling? So if he says, what is the functional classification of a neuron that's in this horn, you would say,
Somatic motor.
you know,
No, you say efferent.
how would you say efferent or motor? But you can say somatic motor because he won't mark it wrong because it's absolutely right. And you'll
Wait.
have the answer in there, but the answer is motor or efferent. Go ahead.
Ask that question again.
This is his sheet, how he classifies things, the classification, and then it says, the structural classification, the functional classification, the source classification.
And
I'm
also
asking you for the
functional.
functional
Oh, I see,
classification.
I see,
The
okay.
function is direction.
Correct.
Which way is the signal traveling? Is it going up or is it going down? It's going down, right? It's going out to wherever it needs to go from the brain, and it's going down, like kind of down and out almost.
So how do we know it's going down? Because it's ventral horn?
Because it's the ventral horn.
Okay.
Because that's what it says. Remember, the ventral horn is where she said the somatic
Motor.
efferent or somatic motor. That's fine. Yeah, the somatic motor neurons synapse.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Does that make sense? Between the upper and lower, that's where the synapse is.
Okay. Okay, cool.
So if he takes that fiber, that muscle fiber right there, and he puts a piece of tape on that friggin' axon and asks you where is the synapse for this neuron occurring. That's a skeletal muscle. Is skeletal muscle voluntary or involuntary?
Voluntary.
Is it somatic or visceral?
Somatic.
It's somatic. That is a lower somatic efferent neuron. Efferent as in motor, right? Because it's sending information to the muscle. Where is the synapse? Where's the cell
Ventral
body
horn.
of that? Yeah, does that make sense?
How'd you know? it
Say
was
that
lower?
question. Say that.
You'll know it's lower because it's going to the muscle. The upper is contained from the brain to the horn. The lower goes from the horn to wherever the frick it's going. And in this case, if it's going to a skeletal muscle, it is a lower somatic neuron.
How did you know it was going to skeleton? Oh, because.
That is a skeletal
Yeah.
muscle fiber. That's a skeletal muscle cell.
Okay.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What gives you, what tells you that's skeletal?
That you learned it in the that's the myofibril. That's the
Like it's
skeletal.
called the skeletal.
That's what
muscle
it is.
fiber. Skeletal muscle fiber.
That's what it is. Like the
I mean, like,
actor, the way it's situated, the way it's set up. Like cardiac muscle has gap junctions between the cells. This is a multinucleated. This is so okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
explain.
no, but yeah, it is. So cardiac muscle is different. Like it's set up differently. It doesn't look like that, and smooth muscle doesn't look like that.
Okay, so
It's like they have different pieces, but they're put together differently. They have the same pieces, but they're put together differently.
because it's. Are you done? Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Sure.
Are you okay?
yeah. Will we have any other kind of muscle in here? Or just
That-
skeletal?
That's an excellent one for him to ask because you can see the axon right there. That is the exemplary of a neuromuscular junction, right? The edge there, the axon from the neuron, and the muscle, neuromuscular junction. Well, where does the axon come from? There's a cell body somewhere. Where's the cell body? The cell body for that,
Some kind of-
In the ventral horn.
it's sitting in the ventral horn exactly, because that's where the synapse is occurring between the upper and the lower.
Yeesh.
Yeah, you see
You
how
have to know this back to front.
you
right?
have to know this stuff, and it'll come up in lab and lecture. Is that okay?
Once you know this, it's really good.
Okay, can
Yeah.
I ask you
Go ahead.
what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
So, you know that it's skeletal muscle fiber, which means that it's voluntary, right?
Right.
And that would make you think somatic. So, from that, how did you get to lower?
Because the upper is completely contained between the brain and it
Oh.
ends right there. It comes
Okay.
from the brain. It's completely contained in the CNS. that is a PNS. Any kind of muscle at all, anything that is not brain or spinal
Is
related,
PNS.
it is PNS.
Okay.
Anything. That's how I know it's lower, because lower is going to where it terminates. Like, where is the signal going?
Okay.
By the way, those are multipolar. The lower neurons, I do believe, are multipolar. I just want to put that out there. Okay, just to put it out. Huh? Want to go over that?
No, I just so we can know if you want to like make references to everything.
Well, no, that's pretty much it, but that's the question that kills people.
What is it?
Because they don't understand. He would put a piece of tape on here, and he could say very clearly what he did and what he did not. Are you going? Okay, well, yeah. But he can put a piece of tape on here and say very clearly, ask you where, like, put, I don't know, on the axon or something, or right here on the, the back of the terminal end of the axon, and he can say where is the cell body or the synapse for this neuron. So you have to be able to look at this and say, okay, well, this is a skeletal muscle cell, skeletal muscle fiber, myofiber. You have to be able to say, because it's going to a muscle, it's lower, right? It's skeletal, therefore it can't be visceral, it has to be somatic.
Okay, right.
You have to be able to say, therefore, between the upper and lower neuron, the synapse is in the ventral horn, and the cell body of this neuron is in that ventral horn, because the synapse is literally the axon going down, and essentially the upper motor neuron looks like this, you know what I mean, where it has a little terminal ends of the axon there, and the cell body of the lower one is where it attaches onto, and then the rest of, like, my arm travels down and ends up right here. Does that make sense?
So it's like,
Go ahead.
if you would, cell bodies are like in the synapse.
I draw a little simple one, so here's like, the brain. Oh god. That looks like a heart. There's the brain. Okay? And there's your skeletal muscle. Whatever, you understand. This, if you blow this up, it looks like this.
Wow.
That little space in between
It's so
is
low.
the synapse, and the dot is the cell body.
Oh god. Yeah, the space is the synapse.
Like the gap, right?
Yeah, so this is the synaptic cleft.
Which is the same as right here too, right? Except they're two
Between the-
different places.
Yeah, except that is not, that's just called a cleft.
Okay.
You can also just call it a synapse, but this entire thing represents a synapse. A synapse is the presynaptic
The
terminal
axon
under the
terminal.
axon. This is the presynaptic terminal under the axon. Here's your synapse, or synaptic cleft. So the synapse is your spine. And this is the postsynaptic dendrite. Here's the cell body. And then it goes like that way, and goes again.
Okay.
And there's another cell body. And then it has another. And the information is traveling this way. So it says like the information is going down. Like when I just draw these the dots, just means there are dendrites there. I just don't know them. Okay? I know it's a lot. Just go home and like sleep it off, and then tomorrow or maybe like Monday's a break. Oh, this is so bad. Nobody's way to do it.
I'm doing this tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow would be a great time to do this.
Spring break.
Before, or even with a glass of vodka. Like, who cares? You are like 21. Yeah, of course you're 21. So yeah, with like, a cranberry vodka or something, you guys give me a blast. I promise.
Did you do that?
No, believe it or not, I didn't drink while studying for this class. I should have, but I didn't. I drank while studying for chemistry.
So nice.
So talk to me. I'm over here now. You guys see where I am?
Lateral horn.
Yeah, lateral horn.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about if he asks for the type of target. What's the target?